Fractions. Equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions are fractions with the same value but different numbers on both the top and the bottom, so the numerator and the denominator. So in this example, for number 1, we're going to find an equivalent fraction to 1/4. But we're going to first visually think about this. So we see we have, in the first one, 1, 2, 3, and 4 boxes. So each one represents one of the 4. And so we're just going to color in just one of them to represent 1/4. So 1 out of the 4 of them boxes is colored. Now we're going to move on to the second one right here. And we're going to see that we have now 8 boxes. So you can see each box, like on the top, got cut into half. So now there's 2 for every on the top that represents the 1. Now, if we wanted to have the same amount that is colored in, like the top one, we would have to color not just 1, but 2. And this would show the top one is 1/4, the middle one is 2 out of the 8 is now colored in order to represent the same amount of area that's colored in. Now we look on the bottom. So we see that now, instead of just this 1, there's 3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now it's broken into 12 parts instead of just the 4, and now it's even greater than the 8. Now in order to get to the same amount that's colored in, we're going to have to color in 3 boxes. So this will represent the same amount that's covered in over the total. And so if to show 4, 3 out of the 12 are colored in. So we see the first one is 1/4 is colored in, the second one is 2 out of 8, and the third one is 3 out of 12. So all of these are considered to be equivalent fractions of each other because they have the same value but just are represented by different numbers. So in order to go from, say, 1/4 to 2/8, all we did here was actually, we just multiply each one by 2, the top and the bottom. So 1 times this 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So you can see we just multiplied what's on the top, and then we multiplied what was on the bottom to get this number, and then the top we got the 2. And then to get the third number, the 3/12, all we did was 1/4, and we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. So 1 times 3 is equal to 3. Now 4 times 3 is equal to 12. So you can see how we got there visually, because we want to represent the same amount, the same value, or how we did it through multiplication. So now let's look at another example. Example 2. 2/3 of the class has the flu. Find an equivalent fraction to 2/3. So for this example, we're just looking for an equivalent fraction to 2/3. So in order to show that, we're first going to go ahead and write out the fraction. What we can do is multiply then the top and the bottom by 2, like we did in the last example. So if we multiply what's on the top, and we multiply what's on the bottom, we get the following. So 2 times 2 is equal to 4. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. So we get 4/6. So that's an equivalent fraction. But we can also find a different equivalent fraction. You could have also picked, say, 3/3. But the point is you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number. That is the most imperative thing that we do, is multiply both top and bottom, this number we pick, by the same number. So we multiply this out, 2 times 3, we get 6. And then we go 3 times 3, which is 9. That's another equivalent fraction. Now we can keep going. We can go 2/3 times 4/4. We're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 4. So when we do this, we go 2 times 4, which is 8. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. This is another equivalent fraction. And this can continue on. We can do 5, we can do 6. But the point is, each number is equivalent to 2/3. It's just represented in a different way with different numbers, but same value. Now, let's look at another example. Example 3. Find an equivalent fraction to 5/7. Well, 5/7, let's go ahead and write that. Now, we just have to find any equivalent fraction. It doesn't tell us we have to do it to give us a certain number on the top or the bottom. So we can pick anything we want. So we can just make it easy and just multiply both the top and the bottom by 2. So what we do is we just multiply 5 times 2 on the top, and we get 10. And then we multiply what's on the bottom. We get 7 times 2, which is equal to 14. So 10/14 is the same as 5/7. So that would be an equivalent fraction, and we could be done. And this is what we could put into WAMAP. Or if you wanted to, though, you can always do another number, like say 3/3. So 5 times 3 is 15, 7 times 3 is 21. You could also put in that number into WAMAP, and it would take the answer. So it's up to you on what you would like to do and picking which numbers, because they all represent the same one, and all you have to do is find one equivalent fraction to the fraction given.